Alright, hey. I'm loading up Creator right quick, but we're about to get started. Let's see. For the case of this, welcome back. Update the stream. Hey, check something out. Look on the bottom right of the stream window. Do you see those words that are scrolling from right to left? That's fair. I appreciate you being here however long you can. Now, remember last time I was telling you that I wanted to get I wanted to be able to tell the audience of what song they're listening to. So, not only did I manually download my entire playlist, I also got a little app that allows me to share with y'all what the name of the song is. So even if I'm away from keyboard, and you hear a song that's playing that you like, all you have to do is just pay attention to the. Oh, turn the music up, okay. So now you'll be able to tell any song that I'm playing. I was going to stream at 3 and 4 o'clock today, but I stopped to make sure that I could install that part for you. Hey, it's no problem. Like I said, for the people who come here, I want them to enjoy themselves and, have a lot of fun. And I mean, I'm not concerned about hitting a huge fan base. That's not what I'm after. If that happens, great. But for the ones that are here right now, right this second, I want them to have a great time. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not too concerned about building a big fan base to begin with. And here's why: because the stuff that I'm gonna animate, the story I'm gonna tell, I'm gonna piss off a lot of people with it. I know this already. So I'm not worried about the numbers at all. I'm just gonna do what I want to do to make myself happy. God, I hope I'm not developing a cold. Alright, so let's get down to the nitty gritty since I've kept you waiting long enough. Today, I got a change of assignment. So you're doing what you want to do and love to do with no care about numbers. Yeah, that's basically it. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's a first and a new way of looking at it, and I haven't seen people act like that in a long, long time. Thing is this: I sat, struggled, got frustrated, pissed off, wanted to throw things against the wall, punch the wall, slam the floor, stomp in a mad rage, trying to get my art and stuff better. Pumped up, fuck. So nobody went through that, that training session besides me. I got some help, yes. So I'm not gonna let anybody on the internet or otherwise tell me what I can and can't draw. If that's the case, I might as well not even pick up a fucking pencil in the first place. And I figured if people have such an issue with what I do, you are more than welcome to learn to draw or get good and do something yourself. And that's basically what I'm doing. So yes, I am absolutely leading by example. So, tan to the side. Yeah, absolutely. I wish I printed out that sheet on how he taught me how to draw. Now I don't know if I will do not safe for work stuff, and it's highly dependent on who it would be. You know what I mean? And honestly, I don't even know if I guess I got used to people caring about numbers, but at the same time, a few of those numbers give them money or they get paid for it. Well, admittedly, my situation is a little unique. A lot of people would like make this their main primary job. As far as like wanting to, like make stream subscribers and stuff like that. I'm not. I've never been concerned about the numbers. I truly haven't. Because right now I have a very decent federal job. I have a very good federal job right now, so money is not the issue. Stop wishing for the pine box. I wish she wasn't so obsessed with death. Tell me, is it cause we blessed with less? I don't know really. I wish the world was safer. I'm scared to travel abroad. That's why I travel with the Lord. I wish a cab would stop for me in the rain. I know you wanna call me insane. I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I have a dream. One day. People in justice. Sweltering with the heat of oppression. Be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. Really, I just want to tell a story and I just want to have fun doing it. Dummies and crooks, athletes and entertainers singing hooks. We need more black babies that's in the books. Read on. I
wish God could take away the pain. I know you wanna call me insane. I'm a dreamer.
And I've said this many times to other friends of mine, but most of the people who are typically offended by things, especially in the level of art, typically are ones that are not comfortable with like nudity. But they'll be perfectly fine like dealing with nudity in like the Bible. Like I'm not religious for the record.
Wish the poor didn't have to take welfare. Wish America had universal health care.
I've noticed a lot of things that I like, religious people don't like.
It's all hype here, and on this track, my soul I might bear. I wish Bush just get out of office before he start World War III and try to off us. It won't cost them, but it'll cost us. And right now, believe me, you lost us.
So if you're not aware, this is my first time I'm actually putting effort into studying. Was that it for the song? Oh, I think that was it for the song. Yeah, that's it. We'll skip. This is my first time putting an effort into Pikachu. Also, the people that have a problem just want something to do. Exactly. Huh. So, let's see. I'm wondering if Pikachu's properties, as far as like drawing his body, would be the same as Maku and Stitch, where I would draw his feet starting from the middle of the torso. Let's see. Yeah, so if I do it like this, then another circle will be here. Also known as Twitter. Yeah. And Twitter really became a shit show, especially when the people from Tumblr got like kicked out. Thinking about it, there has to be a way. Yeah. Let's see. What the? Tetro's calling me? Well, I haven't spoken to him in some time. Let me open him up. Honestly, I can't really keep up on what's going on. Hey, Tetro? Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
Alright.
Just
Good
know.
to see you live stream again.
Yeah, I'm about to say I am streaming, so just keep that. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say something too explicit.
Okay.
Gotta keep it PG-13 as much as I can.
To an extent. I mean, I'm not asking you to go like full on like PC, politically correct and crap, but
I don't think I'm maybe gonna dive into that just for my own safety. I don't want you to get canceled or nothing like that. Weren't you even just talking about Twitter just a second ago?
Yeah. What I was saying is Mountain Man on the chat was talking about Twitter bugging out as usual, and as far as like me doing what I want to do animation wise, if it ever comes down to he mentioned like not safe for work stuff. He's like even not safe for work. So I said yeah, even not safe for work stuff because I've always had it as a backup plan. If something were to
Right.
happen where someone were to try to pull that cancel card, I don't think I've done. I don't think I would ever do anything to trigger it. But you never know.
Wait, can you hold on a second?
Okay.
Sorry about that. Anyways, okay, I heard you. So wait, sorry, what you said you would do if that happened?
I was saying like if I ever got like canceled that like prevented me from
Doing not
like
safe for work art?
well more so on level of doing
Anything.
yeah like doing anything in general as far as like getting part of like animation or
Art.
yeah like like in like an actual work environment then I'm gonna just do not safe for work stuff.
Just to, piss more people off.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Fan the flames.
yeah, I mean,
Perfect.
why not?
I don't know. I actually used to like Twitter. I thought like it was that holy place to go to because I thought like for social media that is because all these other apps came up like Tumblr and Instagram and I was like, what could I do on Instagram that I can't do on Twitter? And Twitter was so popular and it just kind of felt like the ideal place to be to like send your tweets and like where everyone was going and where everyone like um finds media and all that, right? And
Right.
follows people that they want. But now it's how do I say like it's just not what it used to be at all. It's quite the opposite now. Um, I just don't want to use it now because really, you even said yourself like, did it actually became much more toxic the fact that like people from Tumblr got kicked out and they had to like latch on to something else, right?
Yep. Because Twitter,
Yeah.
I mean, Twitter had its drama. I'm not gonna say it was entirely like innocent. Like pre Tumblr. Like everyone getting kicked out of Tumblr, but Twitter was not this bad when Twitter was up. I mean,
They're
when
like
Tumblr was still.
unforgiving, very unforgiving they are, and like they just don't allow any room for like any errors or any mistakes at all. It
Now,
just they see it
granted,
as an absolute sin.
there obviously are some situations where you just don't bounce back from. Like here,
Yeah, because like
I'll give you one for an example. In the FGC, which is known as a fighting game community,
okay,
there was a really big tournament that happens once a year. It's kind of like think of like the Super Bowl for video games, like fighting video games. It's
okay,
called
all right.
Evo. It's called
All right.
Evo. One of the
I don't know. I haven't heard of it. That's strange, but like, okay, I'm intrigued.
one of the founding creators of that entire franchise last year was outed for inappropriate like behavior with minors
Oh yeah, of course. All right.
as far as like like soliciting like having them doing like
Now, was this something like actually bad? Like this was like a 30-year-old man like messaging 15-year-olds, or is this like a
yeah
19-year-old messaging a 17-year-old?
it was like it was like around my age probably older.
Hmm. So like something that's like, and how old were these even minors? Even so,
I have
like
no
not even
idea.
tipping 18. Hmm.
I didn't want to dig more into it. I felt like it didn't really like involve my life and what was going on. So I'm like, I'll just stay out of it.
All right. It's like because people again like there's like never any like middle ground at all when it
Right.
comes to that. People are even willing to call people actual predators or even uh p words because I'm not gonna say that because YouTube and streaming and their restrictions and all that.
Yeah.
Don't accuse people of that, and yet they're just at the age of 18. Oh,
I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Excuse me,
it,
everybody.
it's fine. Still here. Hmm. Oh wait, hello. Oh wait, oh that's got it. Is everything all right?
My mom was curious about how much I owed left on my car.
All right.
It was nothing bad though.
I don't think the stream catch that. No, I don't think they did.
No,
Good.
they didn't. I didn't want them to.
Yeah, of course you don't want them to. It's another business. It's your business.
Yeah.
It's, Anyways, so but like what I was gonna go at is that like people will call people creeps and all that. Even though they're literally at the age of 18.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, that is a bit of a touchy subject, but I mean, I'm not even in that age group anymore to even to be involved in that debate. Now,
Oh, yeah, of
not
course.
I'm in my 30s. There's just no doubt about it. That's just straight out creepy if I do some shit like that.
That's fair enough, but I kind of hate the whole thing as if it's like literally like blow out the candle, you're immediately a creep and all that. That's literally like
Yeah.
how that feels politically correct to say almost, and it's like okay, like is there a difference between being politically correct or being morally correct? I feel like there is a difference. in
Oh
my
yeah,
opinion.
huge difference.
Because like I think there's many things that are like I guess politically okay and all that, which I say would be like because like I'm not gonna no, I'm not gonna touch upon that because I really don't want to get into politics. I mean I don't mind, and it's just that like
just not here.
just for your sake. That's fine. Never mind. So how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty well. Just been getting back into the game with life stuff. Been doing really well on my job. I have a very steady 40-hour work week. I get weekends off.
Nice.
And I started training under Tom Sutton Hotel Transylvania 3 and Paw Patrol.
Ooh.
He's one of the animators from those shows, and I'm also being taught by Wade Goyens, who works with Titmouse for storyboarding.
Nice. This is great. You're okay. So you're already like, well, like, wait. Would you say these are connections, or well, they're just your teachers, right? So it's not like,
Well, now I like to consider them like just like friends. Of course, there's like like there's the business aspect, of course.
Yeah.
But they are friends to me as well.
You can tell when people are at least like being genuine, your friend, being genuinely nice, and not like nice in the sense of like I'll only just behave in front of you just so that you can give me your money, right?
Yeah, it's not like that with either one of them. Tom actually streams on Twitch. I think it's like what is it? It's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays he streams, and sometimes Saturday morning. It's Oh No Tom Sutton. I think there's some underscores in that. Let me
Sutton, like
Sutton.
Oh, TT. Sorry, I realized I'm kind of interrupting you a little bit. My apologies.
No, you're good. You're good.
Wow, this is great. Look at man. Seems like you're actually doing way, way better than I am, actually. I've been slacking off a little bit too much.
I think honestly, like the biggest issue I was having was trying to understand it through a video as opposed to being guided. Like
because
like the training wheels on a bike.
You get too comfortable on something and you're not really like exactly like push and taught necessarily, right?
Because admittedly, once I started taking like one-on-one live sessions, my skills improved a lot.
Let me look back at the stream. Can't really judge yet because these drawings aren't finished, but I can't wait to see how they turn out.
Who?
I really want to see your drawings, that is.
Oh. What I'm doing here, this is just, I'm just doing basic shape study right now.
Okay, so like you're not trying to like copy them or something.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Now I will try to copy them like with the images on the side, but I'm not gonna draw over them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Understanding their forms and their movements and how they form and how they shape and how they look at different angles and the geometry, symmetry. No, not
right.
symmetry. No, symmetry.
No, that's right.
Trying to be all, excuse me, trying to increase my vocabulary to make me seem more intelligent than I actually am.
Oh, stop that! You are a smart guy.
Thank you. See, like that's the way. Like to convince people you're like an absolute intellect. Just make sure you cram in as any vocabulary words and even like unfamiliar words, even if like no one's ever heard of them, and you'll just seem like the next Einstein.
Oh yeah, it works. Believe me, it does. I use a lot of like big words like irrelevant, like basically not important. Like I use that at work. I'm like, that's irrelevant, and they're like, what?
I've actually been saying that a lot lately too, and the reason why I've said that is because of watching Evangelion, because the not the villain, but like the protagonist's dad, he kept on saying that they'll say something like important and say like, oh, like we can't do this because it'll put too much stress on the pilot. It's like irrelevant.
Oh yeah.
He does not give a damn. He'll just
do whatever.
He's
not a massive douche.
It's kind of interesting why douche. Helping its themes for that show. Sadly, like the the end of Evangelion, right? Have you watched it?
I'm currently in the process of watching the original anime.
Okay, that's fine.
Like I've made some progress, but I haven't made it like extremely far.
Okay. And what do you think of it so far?
Um, it's moody, but I will say at least with the context fitting it, like the situation and stuff like that, it is a bit justified.
Yeah.
I'm. I think. I think it's like one of those like psychological type shows, which I love psychological animes.
I love it. Like
I
this
love
actually.
psychological animes. Yeah.
I don't think it's. I can't say it's one of my favorite TV shows. I mean, to be fair, I don't have like such a too many TV shows. Honestly, that I like, but I can at least say like this is an anime I full-heartedly really like. I don't want to say I love it because like not every aspect I want to act as if it's perfect.
Yeah.
But when it comes to because I don't know, like it's comedy and all that, like it's good and all that, but for some reason, I don't know. I don't think it's bad. It's just not my personal cup of tea.
Right.
But I love its psychology, analyzing the human brain, the human condition, and like how we respond to things in life, and how we treat them, how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves, even especially. It's really perfect for that, and I really admire that. And while I can't say the show is maybe my favorite show of all time, I can at least say that the movie, I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that, don't worry. The movie is probably my favorite, not my favorite, but one of my favorite animated films of all time. I think I would even like to argue saying it's one of the best animated films of all time, actually. I think it's actually that great.
Like, now, I know how popular Evangelion is, but like even through that I wouldn't even dare say like Evangelion would be like better looking or like just story wise compared to like the Miyazaki movies. I love Ponyo.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? Yes, I would maybe agree with that, but the movie. I personally think it's a 10 out of 10. I actually do mean that. And I really don't slap 10 out of 10 ratings like candy or something like that. Like I'm really restricted when I do that. Trust me, I really do. Even my favorite, I do actually have a favorite animated film of all time. And I gave that movie an 8 out of 10. It's not the best film of all time, but I think it's really amazing. I love it. It's just my cup of tea. It's my personal favorite, but I say Evangelion is like one of those like best of all time where like it is actually worthy of that grade. I think actually.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's animation's really great. Maybe because in all fairness, like when it comes to Miyazaki films, their backgrounds and detail is usually like outstanding. It really is.
Yeah.
But at least with Evangelion, its animation's absolutely brilliant. Really brilliant. You know how threes are like used in anime? I mean, animation a lot of times when they're really cheap.
Yeah, animes use three. They use threes for like idle chit chat and stuff. Two for like walking cycles and just mundane things, and they use ones for things that they really want you to pay attention to.
Yeah, the types of like even when they do animations on threes, it actually looks really good, surprisingly. I know how that sounds weird because I never thought like threes would ever look good. I didn't even need to ask our shot. Like, could there be times where like threes are appropriate, and I can't think of that. But even though maybe it not have been appropriate, it like does them really well, and I never thought you could do threes well. It's actually surprising. It really just shows like what you can do with like giant beings having to like fight each other. They really do a great job, and like they even do like shaky cam. And like keep in mind that the movie was made in 1997, and as well as we were starting to step into the digital age, only Disney was able to do that. So like other smaller studios, so like over in the anime world, they're actually not using computers yet. So just imagine that like you're on the you're like having to do photography, take pictures of like every single frame and all that, and like try to like simulate as if it's a shaky cam. Like you have to physically like move the drawings and the camera around. Just imagine that, hand by hand, frame by frame, and it looks fantastic actually. But again, like really, it's not just the animation that like makes it great. It's also the combination of like its themes and story, and I think it actually does that better, especially since like it has a tone that I prefer and that I like, and I think it's fitting for that movie. Unlike if
Right.
it, because maybe if they did that same treatment with the show, I don't think it would have worked, but it really worked for the movie. And again, I can't dive into it because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Right.
But I trust me when I say that it is that good.
If
It's
I
not gonna be one of. Sorry, go on, go on.
if I was to give it a guess as far as like the movie versus TV series, I think it's because they probably would have like a much higher budget, or being
Yeah.
able to tell more of a story than the half-hour shows that they're restricted to. Because
Again, I
it's
really can't.
hard. It's hard to get like a whole story out in 30 minutes,
Yeah, but like, in all
especially
fairness,
on,
like
on a serialized level too.
but what the movie does is that like it tells the ending, is the thing. It's not like, well, again, like maybe I shouldn't spoil. I'll just leave it to that. Like the
Yeah,
movie
just leave it be.
says the. I'll just leave it at least at that because it's a little bit complicated. But the movie is like the ending, and so like, and I think it tells it beautifully. And But like the thing that's kind of sad is that like you can't really watch the movie independently. Like I would love it if I got to be like one of those people on Sardonicast. You know what Sardonicast is, right?
No, I don't.
No, it's fine. It's a podcast where it has your movie sucks, I hate everything, and Ralph the Movie Maker on it. They talk about a
Okay.
bunch of movies.
All right, I know who I hate everything is.
All right, and the other two are just other guys who like are very critical of him. If anything, I would like to argue that like some of them are a little bit like maybe more critical of him and have way more understanding of film than he does. I mean, not to discredit him, really, not to discredit him, but you know, especially when it comes to your movie sucks, he's like the holy Jesus of like understanding movies and being a critic in general. But I wish I could just recommend them saying like, hey, you know, go watch it. It's really great and all. But I really can't because like you can't watch it unless you watch the show, because you won't understand the characters, the themes, or the story, or even why everything's happening. And it's not
Right.
like the movie really like introduces you these characters. Like the show introduces these characters, and so you can't just jump in. So sadly, it's not really good for a film jumping in. Even though I think it is that great, you have to watch the show in order to like watch it, which kind of makes it in this weird area for me to say like it's the greatest film of all time, because I feel like any random person can watch it be like, what the fuck, what the frick is this? Because it's like this isn't I don't know anyone. There's no characters to relate to, even though like they get a chance to develop and all that because they were already developed. You get the idea. It's
Yeah.
just
Okay.
still love it.
I think
I think it's great.
I think I have a basic understanding, or at least like what his shapes consist of. So let's open up a new layer, and let's see what I can do.
So how would you say your drawing skills have gone? Like just drawing itself, like not animation or any of this kind of stuff, like how they look. How would you say?
I'm
Seven
sorry,
bit.
I didn't understand. What'd you say?
Like how would you say your drawings are? Like the drawings themselves.
Oh, they're a lot better. I mean, they're not perfect. Obviously there's room for improvement on them. But compared to what I was able to do like last year and the year before that, like when I first started and was like a struggling artist, I mean I still am to an extent, but I'm a lot happier with what I'm able to do now than what I could back then.
Oh. I just opened up your Twitter profile, which I haven't been on Twitter in like forever. I mean, like I've been on the internet, but mostly it's just YouTube and I don't know, some other things, and like not really like social media where like people interact.
Right.
I love the duck guy. Wait, who's the duck guy? Is it someone from a cartoon or?
Duck guy?
Yeah, like it's some like buff duck guy.
Oh, that's Launchpad from Darkwing Duck.
This is really good. I like this one. And for you like getting better and like improving, these lines are really great actually. His line work really show a lot of they show weight, they give it like way more of a feeling to it. It's really well done actually.
Thanks, man.
There's some obvious issues, and you're a smart guy and you're probably aware of them. There's like some lines that like are drawn like outwards or like outside of like the body and all that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But again, you're a smart guy. You probably were already aware of that and knew that yourself.
Yeah, like some things I did catch on to, some things I didn't know. But between the time of that drawing and now, I've gotten a lot better at identifying my mistakes.
Oh, I didn't even look at that. That's this is from November 4th. I only just looked at it because it was like the top. Alright, I'm really starting to see actually improvement. This is actually great. And I'm like looking at Mako.
That's my
Looks
baby
better
boy.
So I remember like earlier drawings and like it wasn't so I mean it wasn't like the like it's improved. Like it's
I couldn't even draw him like 3D, like with the 3D shapes. I've gotten a little bit better at it. And with me drawing, learning to draw like Pikachu and the Pink Panther has helped me immensely because they both have a tail, as does Mako does as well.
Huh. So. Oh, I see, because that's almost drawing similar looking figures. Okay.
Right.
Ah. Nice.
So, like, practicing these two is helping me out a lot. As far as like understanding where like the landmark for the tail goes, like how to like stretch it out and stuff like that. That stuff is important, especially with me having full intentions on animating the tail for Mako, like when he moves and stuff.
Now let me ask you this.
Sure.
I wonder, do you think maybe you would like it more in again, I'm not judging them, I'm really not. I'm wondering, like, would you like them more if you had the ability and understood more of like animals anatomy and you were able to like show a little bit of anatomy through these characters? Or do you like it how it is, how it's a little bit cartoony and realism just doesn't matter?
I intend on learning some animal anatomy, but I'm not comfortable with that just yet. The main primary focus I've wanted to do is I just wanted to stay on my general drawing abilities, because I couldn't draw at all, even when trying the like the library stuff, which I do want to go back to eventually. But for me, anyways, of course, this is just for me, because everybody got their different methods of learning and stuff.
Yeah.
I felt that I needed to get like the basics out of the way. For like basic drawing.
Yeah, like to me, it's I'm even actually reteaching myself some methods because I've fallen off a little bit off the ball with drawing, and I'm actually even going as far as the basics. Even though I consider myself actually fairly good, I'm still just an amateur at the end of the day. And I think like what's ultimately like the best start, I would have to imagine, would have to be perspective. And I really think that really should be the literal actual first step, really.
Oh yeah.
Because
it actually was the first step when I was learning. Well, when me and Tom first started like having like live sessions, I actually know how to do 1 and 2 point perspective pretty decently.
You know what's even more fun to do is 5-point perspective.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
know.
really fun.
I don't know if I'm gonna be doing 5-point perspective. I don't think I need that much.
I was trying to make a bit of a joke, but I see that I kind of sorry. No, it's fine. It's just because like, but then again, it's really interesting because what?
I was supposed to say, is there a 5-point perspective?
Not you know what, I want to say yes, but like, it's not. 5-point perspective is basically fisheye. That's basically what it is. Like when you try to make the illusion as if it's like a fisheye shot, where everything is round and you get to see more space because everything is like rounding out. It's really cool if it's pulled off right. That's also something also cool when they did the the Evangelion movie is that there's actually a lot of fisheye shots, and they look really good actually. I can't imagine that animating characters from fisheye lenses views, and it's again, it's not like, you know, the like they use like a fisheye camera or something like that. They actually like compensated for like the drawings for the backgrounds and the characters to be in that perspective, and I can't even fathom that because drawing and animating characters is just enough from like regular dimension. Now you're telling me to do it from like some sort of other like worldly different thing.
Right.
But then again, I don't think there's a 4-point perspective. I actually don't think there is. Let me see.
I know there's a 1, 2, and 3 point, but I never bothered to look if there was a 4 point, a 5 point. I don't even know how high the points actually goes. Seems like let's say Pikachu's tail starts from the midway point of the bottom half of the sphere. Seems like, anyways.
Oh, I just looked it up. I found some websites. So like, So it seems like what's interesting is that there's a 6-point perspective apparently, and like what that is. Again, I don't know if this is a 5th one, but 6-point perspective is basically taking 2 shots and combining them essentially. This is really interesting to look at. So like, imagine having to do a drawing where like, you know, the top of that half of the drawing is basically looking at the front of the room, right? Like you're in a room and you're looking face forward at the front of the room, right?
Okay.
And then the bottom of the drawing has to transition to having the middle be as if the camera's on the top, to the bottom of the paper, now having to look at the complete opposite side of the room. You can picture that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it would be done.
That's true.
Interesting. I think the most I would need would be like 3-point perspective, because I want to have a lot of flying, like general like aerial flight scenes as well. I mean, hell, is why I made a dragon in the first place with wings. I didn't make a dragon to keep him on the ground, you know?
Yeah. Imagine just making a dragon show and all that, there's like no flying in it. Just all characters like ground. Just
yeah, I mean, heck, even Dragon Tales had them flying in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason I'm now like picturing like those I don't know, like I don't know if you're gonna know what I'm talking about, but like crappy like little animated films with like literally like an actual micro budget with like, you know, Dollar Tree quality animation work where like they do puppet animation. It's, you know, done with, you know, not like real. It's done with puppet rigging and all that. Not like actual like drawings or nothing like that. And like the drawings are usually crappy and like they usually like have even more trouble backgrounds and they're not even like well colored. That like there's not a lot of scenes that happen or not a lot of scenes taking place because like they have to just use like the 2 backgrounds they draw.
Is this an intentional thing or?
Oh no, it's what I'm describing is a movie called what's it called? Puss in Boots: A Furry Tale.
And... Oh, Puss in Boots. Okay.
No, not like DreamWorks.
Talking about the Shrek character?
No, actually, no, I'm not. It's that's not what I'm talking about. It's a knockoff, rip-off movie of like something else, and they just call it Puss in Boots so that they can confuse moms or grandmas to like buy their kid Puss in Boots or something like that, because the kid actually wants like the DreamWorks Puss in Boots, but then they give them like some other thing. It's like, oh, I can't tell the difference in here. Just shut up and watch this movie. It's just so.
Said,
like,
Mom,
can, like...
we want Puss in Boots. You already got Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots at home.
Boots.
Right?
That's it. Wait, look. It's literally called A Furry Tale.
Wow, that's
and like it's got Robert Generation. They even actually had a Puss in Boots show, but like I had like no interest in that. That was just like why. I didn't even like the movie, and they were gonna try with the TV show. I really did not like the movie.
Speaking of movies and TV shows and stuff, have you seen Hilda?
I've seen episode 1.
That's it? Just one?
Because like I'll talk about it. I will, but it's just that like I don't like Hilka. I don't hate it, nothing like that, but I don't like it. But again, I'm willing to talk about it. That's not what I'm trying to communicate.
That's fine. I mean, as someone who is a big fan of the series, I'd like to know why.
Oh yeah, surely. So like, and I also like to know why you like it. So basically, for me, like, I never really got the understanding of why so many people. I mean, I understand why people do like it, and I do get that. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that, like, I think the issue is that, like, I feel like the show is given more credit than it deserves, because
How so?
yeah, there's some things I do like that they do pay attention with, like they have giants and all that, so like they build walls around their city so like they can keep people out. I may like kind of not agree with how tall those buildings are, since like there's some giants that are like so tall enough where like the walls are like the size of his foot, but like that actually doesn't bother me really. The issue I have is that like it's not a bad show, and it really is not, but like it's not that great really. It's like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, maybe being generous, a 6 out of 10, but it's not like it's something ingenious, because the writing is very, very predictable. When you have an idea of like how an episode is set up, depending on like how the way it's set up, when you're like told how something having an idea of how it's gonna go, you've like already figured out how the entire episode's gonna go. It's not really fun to watch. I can't recall it because I only saw the series one time and I didn't rewatch it again.
And it's like, I don't. I'm trying to understand it from your perspective. Surely I am. So the question I'm about to ask is pertaining to that is, I'm not sure how you can make that judgment call based off of one episode. No episode is the same as the other.
Oh no! I mean, I'm talking about like. Sorry, I mean, I've seen season 1 of Hilda. I've not watched season 2. I've only watched episode 1 of season 2. I'm sorry, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. See,
my bad.
So
okay.
I misunderstood.
No, I actually explained it because you said like, how many did you watch Hilda? And I said like, I only saw episode 1. And I was just referring to season 2 because I thought you were talking about have you seen season 2? And I just said like, I only saw the first episode of season 2. That is, I didn't explain it well. That's actually my fault, so pardon me. I really wish I can describe, because again, like, because I'm actually going off more and more from memory than I am from like actually just recently watching it. But like, I forgot there was like a certain episode where I forgot what it was. They were trying to do like a magic trick or something like that, and like the whole episode was like, oh, it's okay, like we could do it. There's gonna be like no consequences, and then like everything's going so well that like, okay, there's obviously going to be a consequence, and it's like, oh no, there's going to be a consequence, and it just happens, and like, there's like nothing to fool you at all, or nothing like written in there, no like things to put in to make you like kind of trick you to like think if it's going to go into a different scenario. And again, like, I really don't like being so too critical, because again, like, it's not that special to me, and it's not like something too significant, really. Oh, there's one thing I can't say that I do remember. How many voice actors are there? Do you know? At least for like the first season, at least.
I'm not sure. I would have to look.
I really want to.
See.
I won't say that for the second season. Maybe they actually got some more budget and more people, but I was willing to bet saying that they probably hired 3 voice actors for the first season, because the reason why I thought of that is because well, first of all, like, most of the cast is female, right? So they're gonna hire all female voice actors, right? And they can even excuse like some of the females to voice, you know, some male characters, like, you know, some of the young boys and all that, because females can voice like young little kids that are boys, right?
Right.
But then I thought it did not work at all when they it was like a lumberjack episode where they were like cutting wood and they had to like stop some wood being cut. I forgot why. And they had to like talk to like the lumberjack behind it. It's like a grown full man. He even has a beard and he has like a very girly voice. I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe it was an artistic choice to like give him like, you know, maybe not give him such a manly voice or something like that. That's not like what I was expecting, but like that voice didn't fit him, and I really highly doubt that that's like they want to show people the different shapes and sizes even through their voices, and it was more because of a limitation because they only had an all-female cast of voice actors. I don't know. That's kind of how I viewed it because they only had like 3 voice actors. But again, like I don't know if that makes sense or not. Again, like he doesn't have to have a manly voice or something like that, where like he gets women wet or something like that. But again, like it just didn't sound like that was supposed to be like intentional, right?
Right.
But I've been going on too long. Apologies for my monologue. Why is it that you like Hilda? Or am I saying that right, Hilda?
Hilda to me seemed like a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of the typical cartoon stories they have nowadays. It's either a main character is stupid as hell, doing something that causes a lot of issues, like stupidly, not really thinking. There is also on the level of each episode is different. Like you can go from one episode to another and not know what to actually expect. Another big thing I love about them is they have a lot of background activity, which makes their world seem a lot more alive than what other cartoons are. Where like some cartoons are completely blank and it's not active in the background. Make things move.
Like so like there's animation, background animation. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I love background animation more so than I do frontal, like main animation. Only cause you can. There's more chances for you to give like really quick, subtle hints on like things that like make the audience think of what to expect, and with more background activity, it'll make the viewers want to watch it again and see what they missed.
Fair enough.
That's cartoon replayability. I've seen like season 1 at least 7 times.
I mean, in all fairness, it's not like the most spectacular animation out there, and it was, it's budget friendly, so they probably were able to like have that money to like do that kind of stuff. So that makes a little bit of sense.
They was heavily budgeted on the first season, which made a little bit of sense, with them starting off. But I'm sorry,
we don't need it to look like the Prince of Egypt or something like that. No, like it's fitting for like what it is and for its story. Like I don't know, we don't need to have like 10 out of 10 animation quality for like everything.
And actually, the art style they got for the TV show it looks like an upgrade, honestly, compared to the original books.
Wait, it's based off of books?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that actually. I don't know. I feel like I would have known that, but I feel stupid now.
With the Netflix series, a lot of characters actually got upgraded as far as like their general roles. Like David and Frida, they wasn't even main characters in the books.
And they became more and more relevant in the
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the art style, and I'm actually looking at the cover art, and I'm actually not that impressed, really. Like, and usually, like, the cover art is supposed to be like way more polished looking. But
I mean, it could be a design choice. I mean, look at what they did with the. But
it looks way more better than the show.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Sorry, like, but in the show, it looks way more better than like the book so far that I'm looking at. But then again, like, it's one thing. Maybe I shouldn't be so judgmental. Actually, no. I'm looking at a page. Yeah, the show does look immensely better than the comic.
Right.
Sorry about. Continue.
I'm trying to think, where did I? Oh, I got lost in my train of thought. I was talking about background activity, plot unpredictability, because there's a lot of good twists and turns, especially in like season 2.
Okay, is there? Because that was my whole problem. Is that like the show was a little. I mean, yeah. In all fairness, each episode is unique and it shows something different. But again, like my issue is that like watching the very first few minutes of it, it's very obvious like the direction it's gonna go, and it just doesn't make it satisfying to watch because everything just unfolds exactly the way that you can picture it to happen. You're saying that's not prevalent in season 2?
No, it's not. And
Okay.
and in defense of the Hilda team too, they in order for most stories to be successful, you have to have some kind of like typical pattern at first to be able to break the pattern. You can't just come out of the gate breaking patterns because it's just gonna. At least I feel it would disconnect people.
I don't know, like I feel like that's not exactly fair because Mr. Robot always was like doing something different. It never really had exactly a formula, and it was always like doing different things and very experimental. And I'm actually surprised how popular it got. For it being so different, actually.
Right.
That's all in its first season. But then again, like I don't know. Again, this is why, like, as well as like I don't like being too critical of it because it's like it's just a kids show, and I know like how it is. It's like like I can understand taking it seriously to a degree, but it's also like, well, how seriously can you take it, right? Like it's because obviously like its audience is like meant for younger people. It's not meant for people really like me. And it's fine if like older people like it and all that, and that's not what I'm saying, but like, I don't know. That's why I kind of have a hard time talking about it, because even though I have criticisms and all that, I don't like to be too harsh and too like, so in the end of the day, it's not like I'm talking about like the Tree of Life or something like that, where I'm talking like about like some masterfully crafted work of art or something, right? That's like supposed to be taken and made for way more mature audiences, you know what I'm saying?
Now, I will say, as far as like kid themed shows are concerned, like not counting Gumball because Gumball's not running anymore.
Yeah,
I
that's over.
I like Hilda from a kid standpoint, because
yeah,
one of the biggest things I love about Hilda is the adventure. Like it feels like a true adventure, and it's always feeling like a small little city and like outside the city. Because depending on where you live, there's a lot that you can do, which I don't think is utilized often in storytelling. 9 times out of 10, you have to go to like this town or that town or this like a whole other land to have some kind of adventure. When I don't feel like the adventure in your own backyard is utilized that much anymore.
I see. Okay, I guess. That's an interesting way to put at it. Okay. But I do agree. Like, this is a great kids show. I won't deny it. This is a really great in terms of like being for kids. If I had kids right now, I would love it if they were watching it.
Oh,
I would
absolutely.
be so okay with that. I would hate it if they were watching something like Clarence, right? This is something I would.
Like, I wouldn't have them see like Star versus the Forces of Evil either.
I mean, I don't know. Like from what I've seen, like that doesn't seem that bad, honestly. Not in comparison to Clarence. But did you hear like I forgot like one of the people working on it ended up getting sued because like he was like abusing like one of the people working on it, like he was like yelling and all that, and he lost in court or something.
Oh, I believe it.
I don't know. The show was so terrible. Like, just did not like it. And that was me like finally growing out of like. I forgot what was the final nail in the coffin for Cartoon Network. I really don't know what it was, but like that was really not good for me because like that was at the point where like I was starting to really grow old, where like I didn't feel like watching Cartoon Network 24/7 and all the time, and because I was fairly young, like when it was at its peak and when it was growing and all, and I was like starting to like now sort of kind of like deviate from that, and having that show being like one of the last things I would watch from it was left a really bad aftertaste in my mouth, if I do say so myself.
Just a bit. I mean, a lot of it depends on at least a show like a show that's good. And in my eyes, really depends on like what the message of it really is, or depends on like how the story is being told. A lot, like I judge a lot of it by like composition too. Composition is kind of a big deal to me, at least in the level of like animation. Depending on like where they have their shots, like what story they're telling with it. Cause some like there are some situations where like some shots can be like better than others, and they don't take full advantage of it, or they could have a shot that like just that I just don't like, that I just don't like to look at.
This is still for Hilda, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was just like a general thing as far as like
Oh,
now granted,
like all TV shows in general.
Hilda has some beautiful composition shots. A lot of like majestic stuff too. Oh, go back and play. I
guess some of his framing is kind of good. Because like sometimes what I hate is that like cinematography is just not taken into account at all when it comes to animation. It feels like it's not a thing at all. There's no like composition, there's no like framing or angles to take in. It's just put the characters there and just move them around. Don't care like how it looks. We'll take that into account really when it comes to filming people with a camera, but not when it comes to like drawings. Like, come on, it's so obvious of what we should do. No wonder why animation died.
Also, one more thing I want to add on to Hilda. All the characters that has like major screen time, I feel deserve it. It's not like they were shoehorned in there.
Oh yeah.
It's like they were slowly introduced. Like people got to know them and understand them and whatnot. And then they became like staples, and you see like quite a bit of them later on, like down the line. You know, as far as like story wise.
Yeah, because like they'll give an episode to a character, and it's like you don't care about the character; it's boring. And like it just feels like, well, we kind of like, you know, need to spice it up somewhat instead of just showing Hilda all the time. So like we'll show her one of our friends that like no one cares about. It's not like that case, I guess, and it's not like the characters are annoying or unbearable and nothing like that. And they kind of do actually have, you know, character to them. Not as great as hers, but you know, it's still there at the very least.
I know this is gonna be like a really weird compliment on what I'm about to say, but to my knowledge, I'll have to go back and fact check myself on this one. But Frida is probably one of my favorite black female characters in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Even compared to the Boondocks? Any character in the Boondocks? Or
well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Black Dynamite. Actually, no. Black Dynamite is just way more comedic and all that. Honestly, there's not really any characters. There's just characters. So Black Dynamite, no, forget that example. Never mind it.
Yeah, I didn't really care for Black Dynamite, to be perfectly honest with you, either.
Wasn't that funny, Sally?
It really wasn't, and like I was just. A lot of it was like just typical 70s, 80s stuff, talking about white man this, white man that, and like I don't give a shit. I just don't care.
I'll just be real quick because I know you want to talk about Hilda, but like the original Black Dynamite film is pure comedy and just ingenious for like all the things. Like they even intentionally like do some bad filmmaking. Like you could see like microphones peeking and popping into frames and all that, and they even like address it, all that kind of stuff. It is hilarious, and to have like Abraham Lincoln come into the White House to help Black Dynamite defeat the president, like that's all funny, that's all great. The chase sequence that happens, that's all great, and like the show captures like none of that at all, and it kind of like ruins the whole point of like what made it funny in the first place, and that's really shameful. It's just like any other like, sadly it's like every other like, you know, crappy adult animated comedy. The only thing that's different is that it just looks better than all these other terrible adult comedies, right?
Right. Admittedly, it's before we switch back over, it's one of the biggest reasons why I'm glad that Boondocks never went to theaters. 'Cause, like it, well, at least until season 4, apparently. I didn't watch season 4, but the first 3 seasons like stayed consistent with his themes and like the feel of it. But switching gears back to Hilda, yeah,
Fair enough.
Frida is definitely one of my favorite like black characters in quite some time.
Honestly, maybe, who knows, maybe I should be, you know, you have every right to actually say that, since like you actually are a minority and like I'm not, so
Right. Well, I mean,
my white man's opinion has no meaning.
that's not fair.
Well,
And that's not fair, and you know that.
I mean, and again, like, I don't really know that many, not only just black animated characters, but also like black female animated characters. It really is actually like,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of them if you really think about it. But a lot of them that are on, a lot of them that get televised, you know, as far as a typical, or like they're ghetto stereotypical.
yeah. Like, that's all they are. That's
Right.
all black women are. They're just loud, obnoxious, shallow, only wanting sugar daddies.
For context, ladies and gentlemen, before you start flipping the fuck out, this is just me just trying to cover the bases. I got your back, buddy. What he says is true. There aren't really a lot of good like black female characters out there. Some are written extremely well. Like I like I'm trying to think what her name is. Jasmine, you know, Boondocks. But like then again, she is mixed. But
I mean, like, come on, like, I say black is black. Are we really like gonna discount it just because it's mixed? I mean,
No.
discount a Mexican just because like he's not fully Mexican. He's like half Mexican, half white. But
I
like,
mean,
sorry.
I just call it by the continuity of the show.
All right, yeah,
That's fair, right?
sure, yeah, okay. For the sake of the argument.
TV show wise, they say she is mixed. Therefore, she is mixed.
But I try to think of like who could I have as minorities, maybe like in my series, because like it involves the 60s and there actually is going to be involvement, because there actually is a plot that happens with black people in the neighborhood in the city that they live in, and that's because what ends up happening is that Martin Luther King is actually assassinated earlier, even before the civil rights movement happens. So that doesn't happen, and not to mention that it doesn't even progress away from racism, since John F. Kennedy doesn't get elected, but rather Nixon gets elected at the time. That's my alternate history. And because of that, it's still, even into 1964, or was it 1963, I'm sorry, where we had the civil rights, none of that happened, and we had like no progression. It just stayed the same as if it was like the 50s, but it being 1961 to 1970 or whatever. And because of that, I actually developed a bit of a plot where I was thinking like, well, is there going to be any importance to that, since like the show doesn't really focus on racism and it just false white characters and all that, like, you know, what does this have to do with anything? And then I thought of something very creative. The character, the main protagonist, you know, is trying to, you know, wipe out all crime in his city, essentially, right? And he's had enough of it, and he's gone worse and just actually has been Breaking Bad by any means of necessary to just, you know, make things his way now, right? And he needs to get himself an army. And how's he going to do that? Who's really going to side with him? And that's when he tries to use politics and tries to appeal to these minorities, acting as if he's fighting for them and that he's helping them, and that, you know, following him will lead them to a better world that will actually respect and acknowledge people of their kind. But really, he doesn't actually care about it at all. He's just using them to his advantage so that he can make sure that he gives himself an army. Yeah? I felt like that was ingenious, and I felt like, ooh, I really need to like take advantage of that.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. And you, by all means, obviously, I wish you the best of luck on that, on like what you're writing out. Just with as much of a touchy subject as that era is, like with anything.
Is there something wrong with what I said?
No. You're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. And I don't think it's right that I make a judgment call on that anyways, because
oh no, that's fine.
Not everybody is gonna think the way I do.
What were you gonna say? I'm curious.
I was gonna say, just be sure you double check, triple check on things that you write.
Yeah. So I really need to be like a little careful on that to make sure like I actually understand subjects and that like I'm not misinterpreting and misshowing them, because like that could like be easily like done, and that's a little bit like, you know, something you need to like manage. And I feel like I have like maybe somewhat of a basic understanding, because there was this kind of side where like, because Martin Luther King really went with the side of like, let's, you know, try to end racism and try to progress with peace. This is the only way to do it, with peace. We can't do this with violence, and it's better if we do peace. And even if it is resolved the other way around, it's not really, you know, that's just not being a good person in general, right? But then there was like the other side where African Americans really felt like, no, we've been treated terribly for a long time. We have a history of being treated long ago, and things are not getting any better. So we should use violence, because that's how many other revolutions were. That's how the French Revolution was, and we should enforce violence to actually make some change. There was that side. It was popular, and they needed to. But you know, Martin King was such a big voice and all that, and really carried it out that we went with the peaceful side. And I'm just thinking, well, what if we actually did go with the violent side? How would that turn out? So that much, at least, I think I do know a little bit. Or did I misinterpret that? Right?
No, I don't think so. But again, with things like this, please make sure you do as much research on the events first, then modify it to your story.
Of course. 100% agree.
I'm not, and don't get it twisted, I am not trying to tell you how to write your story. That is the last thing I'm trying to do.
I mean, tell me if you really please so. I mean, that's what I do to everyone else. But yeah, like, I agree with that. Otherwise, it's gonna obviously seem like a white guy obviously wrote this.
I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily that way. Like, it could, I think it could work just with like, you know, like careful, very careful planning.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible. I think you can do it.
Yeah. And plus, like, it's only for like a city or like a small like region and a neighborhood. It's not like he's, you know, trying to make this whole revolution like on the United States. He's just focusing on his one city alone. That's all it is, and he's just convincing all these people in there. I can't imagine this happening on a national scale. I feel like that's a little too big and even too goofy, actually. Because like, really, like, how are the people in New York affecting this guy? No, it's only the people affecting him in Texas and I can't really say the cities because they're actually not real cities, and that they're made up cities like how GTA's cities are made up.
Right.
But yeah. Sorry, I'm talking a little too much about myself. Pikachu's looking nice so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a little, like, I'm trying to clean it up now, but I'm gonna have to go back through it again.
Cleanup's actually not that bad for you, like, first doing it. For, like, a rough cleanup.
Yeah. I do need to get a little bit better on my, like, general cleanup game, though. But that,
I mean,
that'll come with time.
You're better than I am.
Huh?
You're better than I am.
Really?
Because, like, I'll say that I'm really good at drawing. I will say that, but I am terrible when it comes to cleanup lines, and like I kind of like inherit that a little bit as a style, where like, you know, because I'm just not so that good at like cleaning up, that like I kind of embrace messy looking drawings. But then again, like, you know, even if it is like still a stylistic thing, like, you know, there's still benefits and things that kind of look better if lines were clean, and it's more productive if like they were.
Right.
Lets you focus. It lets you have way more focused lines, way more intentional, well lines, and it's just like not amateurish. Even though I kind of do like how I'm drawing, again, like I shouldn't be comfortable.
Right.
So
You should, I feel you should always be trying to improve your skills.
Biggest rule for even doing anything else, just drawing, don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, yes, I do agree with that to a certain degree, in all fairness I do, but at the same time, like, you know, don't get caught up and get used to one thing and all that, because that doesn't let you grow. Like, growing is about, like, expanding and trying different things and all that, testing your limits of, like, what you can possibly do, not whether or not if you're good at staying in one area or not. That's not growth.
No, not at all. And if you know me well enough, I'm always trying to evolve myself somehow.
Yeah, I do actually even sense that for you. You do seem like someone who always wants to progress and not like stay at somewhere. You do actually come off as someone like that for a little bit. And for me, I'm too lazy.
I mean, everybody has those days. Just don't make it a constant habit.
Too late. I mean, like, I blame that on depression, but like, oh well. Been getting a little bit better now, so like maybe I might get back in the library or something like that.
No, I understand and I completely empathize with you. If you saw my Twitter, like my Twitter handle, I put on there, and this is true. I got the papers to prove it. I actually was diagnosed with major depressive disorder and ADHD.
Yeesh.
And I'm
major
taking,
depressive disorder as a diagnosis. I'm not even diagnosed, and I know I have it.
Like I'm taking like legit meds for it and everything. That's literally a bottle of medicine.
Now, has it actually helped you, or
Absolutely, yeah.
Just...
It has.
Okay.
Now, of course, obviously, I am not a doctor. So.
Yeah, so you're not gonna recommend me anything.
No.
And that's, yeah, and that's okay. And I'm not even, you know, expecting you to.
But if anything else, I would just say go see a doctor or seek help if need be. And again, this is not me shitting on anybody who has that problem, because I did just that 2019 into 2020. I actually got myself checked into a VA medical center, which is like for veterans. And for like 6-7 months, I was getting myself back in shape, like mentally, because I was gone.
You were just a mess.
Yeah.
Didn't even recognize yourself.
Nah. I mean, I acknowledge now like a lot of faults and stuff that I have, and my patience for people have gotten a little bit smaller than what I used to have. I'll admit that too. But at the same time, I can be sympathetic and like understanding if the situation like falls under that option. You know, like they got like did you do such and such, like A, yes, B, no, and then like veer off into 2 more questions, etc., etc.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how I think. Pikachu's feet are so weird.
You're very honest. Actually, the stream delay is actually really, really, really bad. Actually, like
How bad is it?
Feels like I mean, I could be wrong. not that long, but it almost feels like a whole minute delay, actually, if anything. Like, it's running smoothly and all that, but, like, because you were saying, like, oh, like, Pikachu's feet are weird and all that, I'm, like, looking at your live stream and, like, you're still drawing his ears.
Oh.
Or no, finishing up his head, rather. That's terrible, but oh well.
Let's see. I think I'll try to draw over one more time. I need to...
Like, I know, like, I wasn't diagnosed with it, so, like, maybe some people might be, like, you know, pissed off if I say, like, you know, I have depression, but, like, I didn't even, like, not officially, like, diagnosed with it, but, like, I mean, come on, I feel like you kind of, like, know if you're not, because, I felt sad and bad, and I knew why I did, and there's actually a reason why, I was actually, and I was aware of that, feeling bad, and feeling sad, and feeling down, frustrated, and angry, and, again, really sad. And that went on for like many days, weeks, months, into a year by now. Actually, it's almost gonna be a year. It's gotten better though, so like who knows if it's even a year? But that's how long it's gone on for. Maybe even slightly longer than that, but around a year at least, a little less than that maybe.
As someone who has experienced like build up anger and stuff, I would definitely advise against it. Like,
yeah,
you know, like letting it happen. So,
because you just kind of like let yourself out, like do something, and it's just like I shouldn't have done that. That was an asshole thing to do, and now I also kind of like wrecked something.
yeah. So, it's none of my business. Obviously, I'm not prying into your life. I've never been that way. What I will at least what I will say is this: if you feel like you need, like it's becoming too much, you definitely should talk to somebody about it.
Of course. And honestly, maybe it's not gotten to that. I've actually have seen some therapists I can see for like a cheap price actually because of some but yeah, and but sadly, like, you know, the first guy already, like, he's kind of like terrible. He's just non-stop talking, like, when it's not appropriate, like, you know, talking about like simple concepts and all that, and just like finding out how to like write into like a whole entire like essay. Like, let me try to like take like one simple sentence and like make it into like, you know, a paragraph long.
Right.
You only talk about things longly if it seems like a simple concept and like there's something more to it. It's actually not that simple. You don't go on talking about like how simple a simple concept is. And again, he's not that bad, but it's just like, I don't know. He doesn't give anything helpful. Like, honestly, he just kind of feels like a friend. I mean, like, not in a good way, I mean. But, like,
Yeah, I know
you know,
what you
you
mean.
talk to your average friend, and you're like, oh, what do I do and all, and because your friend is, like, either not that experienced or isn't, like, a professional and all, he's just gonna give you, like, your average help and all that, and that's what he gives, and it's like, nice to know I'm giving, you know, I'm paying someone to give me advice that I can get for free, asking a friend. Nice.
Right.
So I'm trying to, like, move on to next one, and it actually made me felt a little bit better, but, yeah, like, it just, I don't know. Because, like, you know, everyone's gonna say, like, my problem, my situation's, like, unique and all that, and no one's gonna understand and all that. And there might actually be some circumstances that, like, won't make other people understand, but yet, like, nonetheless, that's still just how you're gonna feel.
Oh crap! This tail is wrong. I have to bring the tail down just a bit.
Wait, what's wrong with it? It's too high?
Yeah, it's too high.
What's wrong with that?
The Pikachu's tail starts a little bit lower than his hands.
Does it?
Yep.
Interesting, I never knew that. Huh. Alright.
And that was from everything you see me doing today. Like, this is the first time I'm actually drawing Pikachu like this.
Well, then again, his arms are, like, drawn... I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that, but, like, his arms are, like, diagonal, so, like, you know, what if his arms are dripping down? Would that mean, like, now his arms are, like, below his hands are below where his tail is now?
No, it would it would still be the same thing, just in a different angle. That's why it's important to break down the character like this. Like, remember all like the tracing I was doing earlier?
Yeah.
Like I was drawing the circles and stuff. I was trying to figure out where everything was at, like where everything goes.
I like look at it because the way you broke it down, like you put like balls to show like where his shoulders are, kind of like makes it feel as if like Pikachu's like slouching, and he's just got bad posture.
Yeah. Again,
I don't know why.
I mean, this is my first genuine try at him, so there's that.
Oh no, that's not a criticism of your drawing. That's a criticism on the character itself, is what I'm talking about.
Right, I got you.
Pikachu got slouching, terrible posture and all that. Looks like your average teenager who was on his phone for too much.
The bottom, let's see, the bottom
Gotta say,
half of...
see too many like 15-year-olds and all that. Their like heads are like slouching over and all that, and like they're even tall and like they won't be as tall as they probably can be because like their head is like way over and all that. And it's just like they're being on their phone too much. It's just what their necks are used to in being in that position.
Let's see,
It's actually
the bottom
terrible.
half of Pikachu's tail can actually begin if I base it off of Pikachu's left cheek. It's his left like yellow cheek. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So the third hook, like the third curve, is right at his tail. So it needs to come up a little bit more.
So what's next after perspective? What is it? It's not shading, is it? No, it's not shading.
Nah, admittedly, I haven't even touched shading at all. I don't want to yet.
Okay.
I
don't think shading has to be seen that complicated, though. I think we only just think it's more complicated than it actually is because we're looking at very complex geometrical, figures that really bring it down and kind of like play with the rules and, distort them a little bit. So, that's kind of like not fair.
Yeah.
Like knowing shading is knowing geometry, essentially, a little bit. But then again, in all fairness, maybe it's not as simple as that. But maybe it's best to not think of things so complicated as they are. Because what impressed me is when Arshad said that drawing hands are easy. He had the confidence and the testicles to say that drawing hands are easy, and I'm like, this mother effer. Like,
I mean, can
you say that with a straight face?
I mean,
drawing hands are easy.
He's had a lot of years to practice that kind of stuff too, though.
But then I kind of like broke down hands a little bit, and like I don't know. From what I'm kind of thinking of it is like looking at its bone structure and like just how the meat, because people complicate it too much. Like it has like complicated different forms and all that, like the skin folding and like the articulation, I guess. But like I don't know. I guess when you just break it down, it just doesn't seem as complicated, right? Like, how could a building be this tall and all that, but then you break down its structure, how it's made and all that, it's like, oh, that makes sense why that building can be so tall and how it's supported and all that, or something. I guess that's how I kind of, like, view it. It's not too impossible to understand and comprehend once you actually, like, understand it.
This one has a bit of a slant on it. Tip of the tail ends around the size of... Oh, okay, so yeah, that's about right. So I'll bring this down a little bit and then connect this part here.
Oh, you're a big fan of Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain to me, since I'm really not, this is like completely in the dark for me. I've been living on the rock because like I don't know really anything about Pokemon. I watched a few episodes of like the very old series because like my sister I guess was a fan of she was a fan of it and she begged my mother for like the DVDs and all that for like the VHS and yes the VHS which I still have today and I can even watch them if I want to, which I do remember. That's all I have and know about it all. And why are Pokemon cards a thing? Not the existence of Pokemon cards, but like rather the value to it, like them costing thousands of dollars or something like that, and people wasting so much money on them. Like why? What's that all about?
It's literally just for people like that likes collecting stuff. I think honestly a lot of the like Pokemon cards is mainly for people who like to collect cards. Cause like people will collect baseball cards and soccer cards and whatever kind of card they got.
I don't even get that. Like,
I mean, I would just chalk it up as a hobby, a costing hobby, obviously, but a hobby nonetheless.
Okay, like if you had that money to like spend the money on it, it's like, don't you have like better things to spend on? You could. One of the most expensive baseball card you can get is like $3 million. It's like don't waste it on that. Like just buy a Lamborghini for all really. That's actually spending your money way more wisely. Even though I don't think spending that much money on a car is that wisely, but even still, buy a Lamborghini. Don't buy a Pokemon card or a baseball card. I guess. Yeah. Then again, who knows? Maybe
It all comes down to it all comes down to what the person likes.
I just don't understand the people who have that money. And how do they even how do you even value like a card and all that? Like this costs us like $10,000. It's like why does it cost that much? Like that it didn't cost $10,000 to even make that card.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm not really much of a I've never collected Pokemon cards before, so I can't really give an opinion on why like card collecting is so valuable. Maybe it's for bragging rights, just saying they have it, like to show it off to people. I mean, at one time I was collecting like GameCube games, like GameCube CDs. I didn't have a reason for it. I just liked
to. You said CDs, right?
Yeah, the GameCube games was on CDs.
There's more value to that than there is for like a trading card, though. So like, no, like that's I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's that, and they actually do have tournaments with those cards as well.
So so like Pokemon battles or something like that, right?
They got something called the Pokemon World Championships that happens every year. Except for last year and probably this year for obvious reasons. But yeah, they did. Like they have like a Pokemon World Championship where they have like people battle each other from like the old Pokemon handheld games and stuff.
Ooh.
And it's really like you may not think it's intense. Like just looking at it as like a casual, I am too for the record, but it really is.
I mean, like again, I could somewhat maybe have a little bit of an understanding. Maybe not for that in particular, but like I actually do understand esports actually because lots of people are all like, oh, like people are now like gone so low to society now that they're just watching people play video games. It's like I'm not like that. I genuinely understand that, and maybe that's the same thing and all that. Like there's like value to like watching it and people are talented and doing it or something like that. Maybe.
I mean,
again, I really don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so young that I just don't.
I mean,
get it,
video games literally saved my life. Well, like between that and art, because like when I couldn't be motivated to do anything, I enjoyed games. I feel like to an extent.
I might have been spoiled when it came to video games because like video games for me is when I was little, that is, to me it was just like doing anything else that was dumb. And because it's like I was given a Wii first of all for my first console, so it didn't really become like an actual like gamer per se or nothing like that, and I just goofed around and just played games because I just thought they were fun. I never like took them seriously or tried to be good at them, and because of that, I'm even kind of a little bit terrible at games, even still to this day. But yeah, like I even tried to like even take some games seriously and all that, and try to be like competitive in them, but like that didn't work out, and that fall flat on my face, and I even actually do regretted that because I wasted lots of time with that, and I could have used that time for like. And thankfully, it wasn't recently. First of all, this is not recent or something like this. This is like when I was like maybe 14 or something like that. But yet still, I was wasting time. I could have just learned more about animation or drawing in general. No, instead, like, it's just actually wasting my time, and I wasn't even good at playing video games.
Well,
I didn't even want to be
actually,
known for
let me actually counter you there. Because
Okay.
I actually disagree with that statement, and here's why. There has been cases of some cartoons and even anime that's taken a lot of inspiration from from video games. Example, are you familiar with Portal? Like Portal and Portal 2?
Yeah, very much.
There's an anime, not an anime, I'm sorry. There's a French cartoon that goes by the name of Wakfu. With the main character,
Very well aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, Hugo's main gimmick is literally the portals.
Oh, is that where it comes from?
That's what it seems like. I don't have the evidence to prove that, but
I kind of would. When did the show come out? Did it come out in? I think it came out actually before Portal. Well, at least before Portal 2, because like Portal 2 is way more popular than Portal 1.
Let me find out.
Either 2006 or 2009. What?
First, let's find out when did Wakfu come out? 2008.
Okay, 2008. And Portal 2, because again, like, I don't feel like many people are gonna know Portal, but Portal 2 rather.
2008 versus
2011.
2007. 2007 was the first one.
But I really feel like Portal's the franchise's popularity exploded within the sequel actually, because it got big, they had money, they advertised it well, and plus it was even way more of a bigger game in general. There's way more content to absorb than there was for the first game, so okay, that's interesting. But Wakfu came out like 1 year later.
Yeah, but I mean,
you misinterpret what I meant. I wasn't saying like video games are a waste of time. That's not what it's saying. It was a waste of my time, because like I would waste time trying to play them and try to be really good at them and try to even prove myself, so like, oh hey, look at me everyone, I'm really good at this game, like I'm a grandmaster, like I have amazing godlike aim and all that, and I can just kill everyone and carry everyone. It's just, like, I was really trying to do that, and I wasn't even like doing that well, and I was just wasting so much time, and I could have used that time for so many things, and that went on for like a long time, and I really still regret it to this day, wishing that I was doing other things actually.
Well, I mean, as long as you're doing other stuff now,
That's what
I mean, it's not like you can go back and change it, so I would stop stressing over it.
Oh yeah, like, I don't think about it too much, but like, every time I do think about it, I can't stop thinking like, wish I shouldn't have done that.
Well, instead of that, try it like this. Try making the games that you do remember, that you generally do enjoy, that you've played. Why not go back and look at some of the aspects that made you love it in the first place, and try to use it, and try to use it for your series.
Oh yeah, I have actually. Because some of these like games actually had like really great art styles, because like they weren't always like realistic. They were even like, you know, like slightly cartoony actually, and they were and like the concept art behind it was absolutely fantastic. It was like, whoa, like this needs to be used for like comics or something like that. Like this looks that great. It's being used for a video game, and the game's not even capturing the art that well actually. It's not doing it enough justice. But yeah, so there's a little bit of good that came from that maybe. So I'll agree with that. Oh, but that memory of Wakfu, oof. And I remember like we can't be friends anymore because I hate it. And yes, not It's not like Hilda where like, oh, I don't like it, but I also like don't dislike it. Unlike Wafu, where like I actually do hate it, but yet you love it, right?
No, admittedly, Wakfu has aged very badly in my mind.
Yes.
Now, I thought it was a cool concept when it first came out, like when I first saw it. Yes,
There's
but
probably some potential. I
but like
won't
the more
deny
I think
that.
about it, the less I enjoyed it.
Like you don't have like you're probably like thinking back about like the memory it's implanted. It's not that good. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, there's at least that. Okay. I hope it like you maybe. When was the last time you watched season one? I wonder. When was the last time?
It's been some time.
But what would you say? Like, would you say you watched it recently or like a long time ago, where like you wouldn't have like remembered lots of details?
It was a long time ago. I only saw it the one time, and never like rewatched it.
Well, there's your problem. I mean, I really just liked it from my first watch, but because I hate myself, I had the pleasure of watching the entire series. I don't think I did it for season 4 because I think I was actually rather season 3 technically, but like season 3, I think I was just done with it. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna watch it redubbed, but like I had the pleasure of watching season 1 and season 2 twice just so I could see it the dubbed version. Because I first watched it the English version, I was just thinking like, this is just, this is like the worst thing I've ever seen, just because like of how awful.
See, that's your
the
problem.
English voice acting was.
That's just.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I was able to get through it once, but yeah, I watched it in the original French version with the like subtitles on the bottom.
But even so, like even with the French version, there's just like less problems. It's not like the problems are already there, because like even if you do change like the you still have the original language, still like the plot doesn't change. The
Don't get it twisted.
lots of the
There
writing
was-
isn't any different.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
still terrible.
yeah. There was some
character-
strange writing in that show.
The characters are still not that good, and again, there's just so many aspects I don't like, even if you just even have it. It's just that like, because again, it's other problems like how many like lack of achievements there are, because again, like people think a 10 out of 10 film is like a flawless film. That's not the case. A flawless film, could be like a 5 out of 10. It could be like paint drying on a wall. Straight 3-hour film of like just watching like paint dry on a wall, nothing to it. Technically
Or-
flawless, nothing wrong with it,
Or
but doesn't
you
make
could be
any
watching-
achievements.
Or it could be like Twilight. Pow!
Where like no achievements whatsoever and just endless flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the
I
same
mean,
with
hell.
Wafu. It's like
I mean, hell, like the only thing that I would watch more than Twilight once would be The Last Airbender. I'd rather watch The Last Airbender versus Twilight.
at least some of the I don't know, very few of the effects actually weren't that bad, really. I would actually have to argue at least the fire effects were actually, I would have to say, are pretty decent. Actually, I think they actually were realistic looking. And the water physics actually didn't look that bad. The Earth was really lacking though, and in all fairness, that they couldn't do much, and you really can't do much with air. Sadly, you really just can't. That's even one of the other issues with like making that movie. It's like, how do you visualize air? You can't. I mean, if you really think about it, the little orb.
I'm certain there was probably like a sort of way to actually do it, but then again,
The only way I
it
can
was
think
just
of
the
is
person
like
we had.
the only way I can think of like doing it is if there's like so much, if depending on the environment, if there's like a lot of wind that's made and like there's like debris, like there's dirt, snow, or some sort of like dust, and like maybe you can kind of like see it and make it out.
Yeah,
But other
see,
than
there you
that,
go.
like it just doesn't. It doesn't look that good, honestly. It just makes it even look like as if you're bending, sand or snow or something, not like as if it's air itself. The show, being a cartoon, can actually show, because if you want to see a realistic visual of like Aang making like his little like top orb thing and all that, where like he's sits on it and like is moving around, right?
Mm-hmm.
How that would look in real life? Well, there'd be nothing. You wouldn't see the ball. He would just be like sitting and floating in air, and you would just wouldn't see it, and it would just look stupid.
I mean, depending on how much wind is there too, because like you can see a lot of the winds, especially like in
I've never
hurricane,
seen wind.
like hurricanes and tornadoes
Oh,
and shit.
Tornadoes are full of dust, dirt, and water. That's not
I
fair.
know, but I'm
You
just
can't see wind, really. You just can't. I want to see if there's maybe a study on that. Like, can you actually like see wind? Because I don't think
Probably
you actually
not.
can. Like, air is like oxygen is like literally invisible to the naked eye, and I don't think like how fast it moves. I don't think you're gonna capture it. The only way you can kind of like maybe visualize maybe its shape is if like if other particles are like in there that are visible. I believe. But that was an interesting talk. But quickly back to Wakfu. So like, yeah, like even if you don't have it dubbed, like it just creates less problems. It's not like it fixes those problems because it's not like the voice acting is actually good. The only thing that's really solved that's actually glaring more than the terrible voice acting is the lack of audio, because for some reason the official people who dubbed it did not obviously have access to the original audio files. So instead of like having to like take the audio, delete the audio of like the original language and then like place it over their English one, they couldn't do that. So they just took the original sound design and they just lowered the volume for every time they talk, and they would just like talk over it. That was awful. That
that
was
sounds strange.
beyond awful. There were so many scenes where like there should be like obviously like sounds and like there's like no sound at all. You'll see like a sword be slammed on a rock or something like that, no sound whatsoever, because we gotta make way to make sure that the English voice actor is talking over it. And the original scene wasn't even designed like that. There was a sound effect, but again, they didn't have access to the original audio files. That's lazy to like another peak. Although in all
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
just quickly, in all fairness, they actually did fix this with the season 3 for the Netflix show. They actually did fix the dub for that. That I was actually bearable, and I would argue okay. I'll at least give it that. Now, you were gonna say? We could be done with Wakfu if you want.
Yeah. This will be the like last thing I want to talk about that show. Like that show has like a lot of weird fetishes.
Oh, wait, I I don't, because I remember a lot of things. I remember animation errors. There's like a single frame where like no, a few frames where like a guy's model disappears, and like there's other ones like I won't get into it because there's like so many other ones and they're worse than that. But fetishes? I don't remember fetishes.
I mean,
unless they talk about like then like come on, like that's
like they had a whole episode of this one guy who literally wanted panties and underwears to like let them pass through. Let alone there was like I think it was like 2 or 3 or possibly 4 different situations where Hugo's face just got shoved completely in Amelia's ass. Like, I swear, I'm not making this up. I swear I'm not. I wish I was. I truly wish I was.
Oh my God. I forgot about that. Oh, that's in the 3rd season. I don't think like the 3rd season's even the worst. Oh God. Oh.
And that I don't remember the guy. I don't remember the character's name, but he ended up having like 2 or 3 kids with that arrow with the arrow girl. And they
okay, yeah, okay.
I don't remember his name. I just remember what he was. But
it was
like they
Yappa or something.
Yeah, they had like a whole segment where like they aged up one of his daughters extremely quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
No. I don't think they aged his daughter wrinkly. I think her daughter became thick, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like,
that was the thing. That just kind of felt wrong because it felt like, yeah, maybe she has the female of a body, but yet she still has maybe like the mind of a toddler. So
right.
No go.
And
that's weird to think about. That just even like gets under my skin. Like, yeah.
The biggest thing that really had me upset about the show, because I watched all 3 seasons, like the 2 movies and whatnot, like the specials. I've seen them
Yeah.
all, to be fair. So I was like, this is not me just saying.
So have I.
So I don't want anyone thinking like, oh, he didn't even watch the show, so he didn't know what
Oh,
happened.
no.
So
I think we all watched it, you and I. I think we absorbed every single bit of content that we can absorb, I believe. Well,
but the thing that like
except
really
for the Dofu's movies.
the thing that really upset me the most was the writing of Adamai.
Oh yeah, because they did that just did not make any sense.
No, like him going to the dark side didn't even make sense, and they didn't really utilize him enough even when he was a kid. Like he was just always in the background.
Is it as strange that like he grew up really fast, and yet like the show continued on for like a few years and all that did not age a single day, and then like not a lot of time actually passes, and like he's already like full grown. That was weird.
Yeah, I mean it
Does
really
he-
was.
Another case of does he even have the mind of a child even, or did like dragons like mentally mature quicker? How can you?
They are mentally mature quicker. At
Yeah,
least,
I
at
guess
least
so, 'cause
in Wakfu he did. Let me stress that
Because
part.
he didn't act like a kid in all fairness. He did act like an adult, I guess. So like,
He was probably going through his angsty teen years.
so like he was a teenager when like he looked like a toddler even when he had like small little body and a gigantic head.
No, he was a newborn.
Oh yeah, but like he didn't really age all that much between like the special three episodes and like
Well, I mean,
season 1.
I mean, he got
He really
taller.
didn't age that much.
I mean, he got taller considerably fast.
Wait, no, he grew. No, he's as old as Hugo is because they were twins. They were born at the same time. So like, and I know why Hugo didn't grow. I know why Hugo didn't really grow up, but like, I don't know, like. He grew almost like kind of like in a similar pace that Hugo did, and then like he just had a major growth spurt within like 2 years.
Yeah, which was
I mean, in all fairness, yeah, growth spurts actually happen that quick, but like you don't turn into a toddler to a 6'5" teenager like,
right.
suddenly.
Never mind the fact that they drew him like where he was a lot more masculine. As like
I mean, look,
if that makes any sense, I don't know. That sounds weird even to me, but
I would say more matured.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
More
that's
matured.
fair. But yeah, there was a lot of strange shit that happened with Wakfu that just didn't sit right with me.
I really was pissed off on like literally like the first time they showed like the first frame they showed him. I immediately hated it because he looked exactly like Frieza from Dragon Ball. It wasn't even a joke. And he even like has all of like his powers and like shows a resemblance. Like, oh, I'm too quick, you can't touch me. I could destroy this entire place within 5 minutes. It's like it's the same character and it's the same. It's not even like expired or something like that. It's just like a complete like rip off actually, the knockoff Frieza. Actually,
In hindsight,
to refresh my mind.
I didn't even think about that either. You're right.
You didn't think about that? That was like one of the first things I thought of.
Like I just didn't notice. I mean, because I remember when I watched Wakfu, the intention that I had going into the show is I wanted to study how like animators like write child characters because it's not done all that often.
Oh, but this is a terrible example.
Yeah, I know that now. This was years ago. I was young. I didn't know any better.
I was only 20.
Yeah, what was I supposed to do?
Late 20.
But,
I was like a late teenager, watching it and all that, and I already knew that was just terrible 1 out of 10 garbage, the worst in the world.
But yeah, real talk. I was more so just trying to figure out how people would write like children at least to the point like their personalities. Because typically
You thought there would be like maybe some honest portrayal or something. Hopefully.
yeah,
that the writer was not going to be a hack or something, that he was going to be somewhat truthful.
Right. I mean, that's what I was hoping,
Well,
and
was
I
that?
didn't really know like what shows to really look at for things like that. And bringing it back around, that's actually one of the things that actually does. It's actually one of the things I do enjoy about Hilda quite a bit, because she does, like, she feels like a genuine kid. You know, like adventurous. You know, want to go out and explore and stuff like that. Don't want to stay in.
I mean, maybe she doesn't sound like a kid, but like I kind of like excuse that because maybe like there's a bit of a threshold you can have to like kind of like have suspension of disbelief for a character. If she was like actually realistic, she'd be boring. So like I can give that a bit of a pass, and she does have some restrictions and all that. She kind of has like the maybe like behavior sometimes of a kid. She may not sound and talk like one, but she does have some attributes in all fairness. So
Yeah.
but what was that? Also, like people, I don't know, too many people think black fruit is good, which actually really makes me like feel like we failed as a species. Actually,
Well, if that's
like,
the case, then stay far the hell away from anime, my friend.
um,
I'm just saying. As bad as Wakfu is, there's a lot worse out there.
I mean, even the most generic garbage that they make in anime is actually better than Clarence. So like, I don't know. They kind of have like tasty trash, even if it is trash.
I suppose.
It's like, you know, for how I kind of view it, it's like, you know, dumping into like, you know, your garbage, like someone's house garbage dump. There's like nothing in there to eat, but then like you'll go buy like a Taco Bell, a garbage dump and all that, and you'll at least like be lucky to find at least like one burrito to eat. That's like how I kind of view anime versus like American cartoons.
Now, granted, this will be the last topic we talk about before I close out for the evening.
Oh, you're heading out?
Soon, just not right specific second. But
Okay.
now, I do agree with you. You know, with the statement that you just said about like anime versus like traditional animation. But there are some things that anime gets right that traditional animation does not.
Oh yeah.
As edgy as Americans like to be, or at least they.
Oh no, I would say it's the
as-
opposite actually. As edgy Japanese like to be, but okay, for the sake of the argument, go on.
As edgy as Americans try to like think everything is, anime has really displayed some really dark, twisted shit.
Yeah.
Like
Sorry, I really should have let you continue. I feel stupid now.
off the top of my head, like and ironically, every one of these are actually favorites of mine. I love almost all of them. There's Full Metal Alchemist, which is a general fan favorite. There's Madoka Magica. There's Made in Abyss.
I tried watching Full Metal Alchemist as like a young child, and I immediately got nightmares and couldn't finish it just watching the first episode.
That's
just
fair.
from the beginning alone.
Right. Yeah, like there's like Made in Abyss. There's The Promised Neverland, which is another one of my favorites.
Never heard of that actually. That's also like disturbing.
Yeah, it's disturbing, but it does have like some, like it has like a lot of psychological play in it as well. There's also one of the most popular. Oh God, what's the name of that song? I can't think of it. Magical Girl. There's Madoka Magica, which is probably one of like the darkest things I've actually seen in a while. And it's themed to like it's like Magical Girl, which is like Sailor Moon and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a lot of really dark and twisted stuff. Hell, there was an anime I saw last night for the very first time. Because it came up in my feed for on my Fire Stick. It was I think it was called Re-Healer or something like that. Or like Hero something. What is it? Hold on. I'll have to get this specific. Yeah, it's Redo the healer. I think I was actually told not to watch this from a friend of mine that actually did. I think I saw it without even realizing that this was the actual show. Anyways, yeah, like there's only 2 episodes out right now, and it's some really dark shit. Like,
Can you give an example, like spoil me even?
okay, because I don't really expect you to watch any of this stuff.
I probably might actually, now that you mention it, for like how high you're setting up the bar.
Okay,
Someone like me could use a good dose of it.
with the now, before I explain what I'm about to explain, let me start off with the pretense that apparently there is an uncensored and there's a censored version of that anime. So that should be red flags already.
Ooh, making it already spicy.
Yeah, spicy. But the premise of this show, I think, is a revenge story. The main character, he like the first episode kind of explains what his previous life was. People get assigned like special magic abilities and magical properties, and he was a healer. So he went to like this kingdom where this princess was like going to train him, like how to become a proper healer. Only to like have a twisted thing of they drugged him, like locked him up, and they tortured the hell out of him for like 4 years straight.
4 years.
4 years.
Okay.
He had gained the ability to travel back in time to like restart his life with the knowledge of him knowing everything that happened. Thus begins the premise of it, and from the second episode, from what I've seen, he went on like a massive rampage and just getting like utter revenge on this princess who treated him so badly in the first episode.
Now, isn't that gonna create a paradox where like, everything like, I don't know, like he resets time and all that, and then like they're never able to capture him in the first place, and that he lives a regular life or something?
I'm not sure. I don't know that much about the series in general, besides the 2 episodes that I watched, so I can't make a call on that yet.
I was hoping it was gonna have like dumb, stupid, inconsistent, end game logic, where like we try to like make excuses of like why we can't do this and all that, and then like we, counter like our whole entire reasoning of like doing this and that. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I can't give you a full I can't give an answer because I don't know. I
really hate when
don't know.
Time traveling is like introduced because like they always fuck it up, and it's like it's really not that hard. Just stop being lazy for like your artistic creativity. It doesn't matter. It's stupid. But go on. Sorry.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of like time travel stuff either. But yeah, as far as like general dark stuff is concerned, this might be probably the darkest I've seen, or that might have came in second place. It's like there's a lot of shit that he does in the second episode I didn't think he would do.
I think it's even way more crushing the fact that like, because you said that he became a healer and all that. You act as if like he was an innocent character before that was nice and precious, and then he just got beaten down and rotted away. And just
that's basically what it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I think that's really like, to me, like that actually really helps. Really like help the tone and all that, and just really like I don't know, drags like the viewer down as well.
Yeah, I mean, there might be information that I'm not aware of as well. So keep that in mind, with me explaining what I just did.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Because I haven't read the mangas and the light novels, so I don't know what really happens past those 2 episodes. And and a cartoon episode can only cover but so much.
I actually prefer the Death Note manga over the anime.
That's fair.
Eh, what? And the reason why is because like I don't know why no one talks about this. Everyone talks about the animations like it's the best thing since like sliced bread.
Which
But we're
I
both
would
animators.
definitely
We
disagree
both
with.
know what.
I was saying I would definitely disagree with that one.
Yeah, because well, I'm not. I'm wondering if you're even going to disagree with what I'm going to have to say because I actually think that the animation for the Death Note show is actual garbage. Because like I watched it recently and the story is still good. It's really well. It's one of the best written plots I've ever seen for a story ever. For like how meticulous it's written and puzzle pieces placed together intricately, but animation's just god awful because the art style that they're asking for, not only is it like hard to do because the manga itself like wasn't even very cartoonish. It was actually fairly realistic. Like there weren't any cartoony proportions. The only thing that was
Right.
like slightly cartoony was just like maybe the noses, the cheeks, and no, I mean the chin and like the eyes. But like that's about it. Like nothing else is really like it's not even that exaggerated in terms of like exaggeration, right? And not only is that hard to do for animation, but they don't even have the talented animators to even pull it off. Really, like not even close. And it's stiff and wonky, and it doesn't really look good often. And the only shots that do look good are like done once and they're reused a few times, and that's it. It's not like it consistently looks good.
Right. I mean, not, most of the time, I'll be the first to admit it. I do give animes a bit of a break, as far as like animation, as only because as much as I just sat here and praised the stories, which I will defend that. Like the stories itself are excellent in most cases,
Yeah.
but the animation budget is not nearly as good as like the storytelling.
It's not just that, it's also like the people that they're hiring. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like, they didn't even hire good people to make sure that these drawings even looked good, even so. Or they didn't even make too many compromises to kind of like. Because really, like, if you're really not going to capture the art style, and I think it's even expected something, because, again, like, read the Death Note manga and you're, like, looking at this being like, wow, this is, like, not only one of the greatest art pieces I've seen from manga, but also like you can't animate this, and you really can't. So they might as well have changed it, but they didn't. Um, have they ever changed the art style versus like a anime and manga? I don't think that's ever been done, or I don't think that's
I don't believe
popular
so.
at least. Oh, that's probably gonna be really unheard of.
Yeah, I don't. To my knowledge, anyway.
Would fans even really
I
care?
don't think so.
Because
Really,
like I don't know, some
I'm saying.
Sorry.
Really, I just want a good story. At least in the case of anime, I I will dismiss like the animation portion of it if the story keeps me in.
yeah.
Because visuals isn't everything.
I mean, come on. For movies, it is. I would have to like disagree with that actually. For like when you're watching a movie or a show, like honestly, shows are the same thing. They're just longer. When you're watching a movie, like it needs to. You're watching visuals all the time. It should look good regardless. So like even if it's animation. So like I don't know. I kind of would have to disagree with that actually.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, like read a book or read the comics. Don't like watch crappy visual garbage, even if the story's good.
but of course, that comes down to different perspectives. Again,
Fair enough. Yeah. Not everyone's gonna think the same way, and more power to you if you don't want to like think of that. Because liking things is not about like it how I do. That's not how it is. Like it how you like it.
right? And in situations like that, who's to say that I can't learn something from you and be able to put a little twist on it?
Yeah.
Like you could for example, the praises I gave about Hilda earlier, you could like you can use those like the conversation we had and put some of those into your own idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because that just made me think like, okay, like make sure like nothing's like too predictable, and even if like you're gonna like write a concept and maybe it seems as if it's gonna go somewhere, make it go somewhere else. So like your audience can even try to predict what's gonna happen, and it's not gonna come close to what they think is gonna happen. That I
Right.
don't think it's done enough actually in writing. Breaking Bad did that. It made you guess how many things, what can happen and what's gonna go, and it's just gonna go to a route that you wouldn't expect it to happen. What makes it a really great experience to watch. Because that's another thing people don't take into account. That's something really, now that I actually think about it, I think that's really misunderstood when it comes to like filmmaking, and that is the experience you have watching it. So what if it's a great story and all that? Because like, is it really that great if you just can predict it? Like, it's just like learning the alphabet. Like I know that Q comes after P comes after Q. It's like
Are you
nothing's
sure?
surprising.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, P comes after. Wait, hold. Or is it Q comes after?
That was the John Cena meme, by the way, that I hit you with.
I know, but like I actually want to make sure now.
It's P then Q.
Ah,
But I just found it funny that I was able to hit you with that John Cena meme and it worked effectively.
that was my fault. So you know what? Because if I would have been right, I would have been like in your face, boy. But no, I can't. I was wrong. I'm not gonna, because lots of people will even be like they're wrong, but they're not gonna admit it. Be like, oh, shut up and all that, and then like they start roasting and all, and they're acting as if like they can't do no wrong. It's like, just take the L, and that's what I'm doing, taking the L. It's like nothing to defend. I don't know my ABCs. Foolish American. Everyone knows that Q comes after P, and everyone also knows that Y comes after Z. Wait a second.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm actually glad you said that because I need to work on my French lessons.
You're learning French?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Nice.
See?
What made you want to learn that, though?
How's that for a plot twist?
Really? Because, like, I'm hearing about, like, drawing and taking care of yourself and all that and getting a good job, and never did I think that you would want to make room learning another language.
But I'm trying to learn French because it'll help me like a long way in Canada.
You're going to Canada?
I'm trying to.
Ooh. Okay. Well, where does the rumor come from where people say that Canada screw up, or at least like they're full of weirdos? I don't know where that
I have no idea. Probably Americans making the same stereotype, and then this strangers fuck themselves. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, usually people that call somebody out on one era and that may not be accurate are typically the ones who are doing it themselves.
Yeah.
So again, that's just speculation. I can't prove that, obviously.
All Chinese people eat dogs.
That's not true either.
I want someone to take that out of context and try to cancel me.
Oh,
Look,
God.
look at Tetsuo. He thinks that all Chinese people eat dogs.
Great. So basically, we have a new not safe for work artist in the making. I see. And on that
No,
note,
I'm not gonna-
that actually was like the perfect note to close on because I just literally brought the joke around from the beginning. But thank you, Tetro, for hanging out with me and
Oh yeah, no problem.
in the call. It kept me
I love
busy. Let me show you the final, at least like what I managed to come up with. It's not bad of a start.
Stream is-
It's not bad of a start.
Stream is
my
gonna
first
be
try.
a
Yeah.
bit of a delay, so like give some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love coming here. Even actually, I love talking to you and all that. Plus, like give a stream a little bit of some spiciness to it, right? Help you be like, I mean, I don't think I'm entertaining, but like, I don't know. I think it might be a little bit more interesting than like to watch two guys talking to each other, babbling to each other, right? Especially maybe if like, I don't know, it could be like a little bit hard to like carry everything on your own. Like, let me carry some of the weight on, man.
It makes things interesting too because, we both brought up two entirely different categories at times. Different categories and different subjects that I probably would have never spoken about had it just been me.
All right. I'm looking at the drawing right now, and looks really good. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad for a first attempt at all.
Hmm.
Like,
Wait, can you delete the layer that's under it? Because like,
oh yeah,
or is that part of it?
no,
Yeah.
it's a layer underneath it.
I just want to see the clean line.
There's a little part that's off, like right down here. A little part, like this still stuff I have to go over. Like that right there, and this here was bothering the crap out of me. Just add a little spigot there, but like there's still a lot that I need to go over, and I definitely need a little bit of not a lot, not a little bit, a lot of improvement on my line work.
But I really like it. It's actually not that bad. At least I don't know. I feel like there's something to the lines than just being nothing. Cause like I don't know. If you ask me, I kind of like prefer messy, inconsistent lines than just straight, plain, thin lines that are like very consistent to the point where like it's boring,
Yeah,
like a like terrible anime, right?
yeah, I understand that. I do.
I like this. This is good. Wait, is that a shadow? Like, is that room for like a shadow like that centerpiece, like between his mouth and his arms?
Oh yeah, that's I think it's a little shadow light. At least that's let me
It's room for a shadow. It's a
let
shade
me
for it.
let me put in the original one right quick, just to show you what I was drawing from.
I know those eyes are supposed to be like they're not pupils. They're supposed to be
Iris.
like no like I thought they were supposed to be like lights or like highlights or something like that, right? Highlights
Yeah.
like lighting to it, right? But like it's kind of funny like looking at it when it's just contour lines and it just kind of looks as if like Pikachu's like cross-eyed as if.
Yeah, yeah, it does look weird. But this is the one that I oh sorry. Yeah, this is the one I drew from. It's a little shadow like right here. Of course, I gotta wait for the delay.
That makes a lot of sense.
But the main point was to I'm just trying to get the hang of it, drawing from the model sheet and stuff that was provided to practice on. So I'll
This
give
is
it
actually
that.
not that bad. And again, like you're really young when it comes to like drawing and trying to be good at it. And plus, like you're busy with real stuff in life and all of that, and it's not like you doing art is really a it's not like as a career, so it's not like you have to rely on like being fantastic and like the best of the best. But like again, really good, and I can see I really do actually notice improvement because I don't know, I don't feel like the quality to this would have been the same as last time actually, and I really do mean that too.
Thanks, buddy. I'm trying as best as I can. What's this?
Sadly, with like lots of time on my hands, that kind of leaves me a little bit room to like really work on stuff. Um, because really, I just want to make sure I could just finally draw everything nice, so I can finally just finish my characters and give them all a character design. Then again, there's one character I'm working on. He's supposed to be a main character, but because it's supposed to be a 5 band,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a little bit hard to make because I don't have any more room for the fifth guy because it all started for like one character and I developed him. I've written him for like 4 years and I didn't have like I thought like it could be a little bit unrealistic for this guy to be doing all this work alone, as well as like giving him too many character traits that some of them even felt contradictory. So he has so many that I just split them up into like a few different characters, but there's not enough room for like the fifth guy. It's like I don't know, because like everyone's taken, everyone's like merged with others. The smartest one is not exactly the smartest one because there's the mechanic who is smart in a different area, but it's also like the muscle in the group. The tall, lengthy one is like not even like the strong one in the group. He's the tallest one, but not like the strongest one. He's like the most intelligent, but like in other different areas. And the short little guy is the most athletic, but then like but again like not strong, but just athletics, like fast and all that. And then like you get like the fifth guy who's like not a leader, and it's like what is left for him?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, writing characters isn't exactly the easiest thing to do. So yeah, I understand the struggles.
so I have a bad feeling that if I don't do that guy right, he's just gonna feel like that terrible character that just felt added in, and it's like there's no point to him. He's so bland and all that. Why he should have just been taken out? It's like I don't want to run to that.
Right. Meanwhile, Tetro, It was great talking with you, buddy.
Really great talk. Sorry for keeping you on a little bit longer.
You're fine. I'm just glad to hear you're doing okay. I'll stay as updated as I can, but it's a lot of hard work for me.
Really great seeing you. Really great talk. Hope you get to stream some more. That'll be fun.
I'll try to. I'm trying to reset as far as like Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. But yeah, I'll keep everybody posted and stuff like that. But
take care, my
guy.
guy.
Tetro. Have a great night.
Have a good.
Oops. I pressed that button way too fast. I did not mean to do that. And everyone here on the stream, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it a whole lot. Thank you.